Alright guys, my name's Nathan and this is Southwest S550. If this is your first time stopping by, please hit that subscribe button and maybe throw this video a thumbs up. Now today we have a pretty interesting topic. This is actually a video that was shot a couple months ago, but it's a very relevant topic for today's day and age in the Coyote community. Is the Gen 3 2018 plus Coyotes versus the Gen 2s, and full bolt-on 2015 or 2016 car, how that fares against a Gen 3 2018 with a 10-speed. Well, I decided to do a little bit of testing myself. So a local guy here in my area recently bought one, so we decided that we would take it up and find out which car is faster. My S550 at this time was not stock at all. The mods that it had were a 2018 intake manifold. It had a PMOS cold air intake. It had long tubes. It was had a full exhaust. It wasn't the best exhaust. It was like stock pipe with a custom X pipe and muffler deletes. But I think that's about it for mods. So in my opinion, that's a full bolt-on car. I know that there's a big conflict out there about what's considered full bolt-on and whatnot, but in my opinion, that would be a full bolt-on car. The 2018 is completely bone stock. It's the same way. I mean, it probably had 20 miles on it at this point. So very new car. So the results honestly surprised me a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and just show you guys the video, and then I'll kind of talk about my thoughts at the end of the video and the way I think that the race went. Alright guys, so we're back. So my thoughts on the way that the race went actually were, it kind of went the opposite of what I was initially thinking would happen. I really thought that those extra gears that the 10-speed had would give it more top end. So I thought that I would get him out of the hole, or we'd be just about even out of the hole, and maybe he'd start pulling me on the top end because it can keep it in the power band better than the 6-speed can. I mean, in the 6-speed with a 315 gear, when the car was naturally aspirated, I was ending the quarter mile in the middle of third gear. So I mean, I really don't go through very many gears, where the 10-speed, I think he was ending in like 6th gear. So I mean, he was really able to keep it in that that RPM bracket where the most power was. But it was kind of the opposite, actually. When I dynoed my car, it made 436 horsepower to the wheels. That was full bolt-on. It was on 91. Actually, what ended up happening is he got me out of the hole every single time the car would pull me in first. It does have the factory option for the 355 gear in the rear. So I really think that that had a lot to do with the reason why he was getting out of me in first. I'm on a 315 gear, and I think his first gear is a little more aggressive as well. I was having a little bit of traction issues. One thing I can say about that 2018 is it was on like I think it was a 255 tire in the rear, and I was on a much superior tire. I mean, I was on an Extreme Summer Performance tire. It's 275 40 19. He was on a 255, I believe. And every single time the car barely spun. So I don't know if that has to do with his traction control being tuned better than mine, or if he even had the traction control on. If I'm being honest, I really don't know. All my races were with traction control off, because that's how I achieve the best times. But regardless of that, as you can see in the roll race, it was a much different story. I actually tapped the limiter in first, so I lost a little ground, but in second, I caught the ground back up, and then when the car finally shifted into third, it started just walking away from it. So I know that my car had more top end. In one of the races where I got a little better launch, you could see my car walking away. I don't know if it was enough to catch him by the end of the quarter mile, but it was steadily walking away from the 2018. So like I said, it literally went the opposite of what I thought. I don't know that if you were to not get the 355 gears in the rear, if the race would have ended any differently. Possibly if he had a longer gear in the rear, he would not have been able to walk me so hard at the beginning, and maybe things would have been a little different. But I just figured I'd take a minute to share this video. Video credit goes out to a buddy of mine, Denzel. He actually took the video and edited it for me. For a 2016 Gen 2, I mean, my car performed pretty well. I see some videos online and of like Gen 2s walking Gen 3s. I don't know if they're 6 speeds or 10 speed cars, and maybe some of the people watching this, I mean, have beat a Gen 3 car. I definitely think it's possible. Especially on a roll. I think a Gen 2 car that's full bolt-on will have the advantage from a roll, or from a dig if the 2018 car had a longer gear in the rear, or if the Gen 2 car had a shorter gear in the rear. I mean, I think that the race, any of those races would have ended a lot differently. But just sharing my experience with it, I was super surprised with the way that the Gen 3, thanks to my buddy for bringing his car out fresh off the showroom floor and letting me race him in it. Thanks again for tuning in to Southwest S550. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be posting new content at least once a week. We've got some cool races coming up. Methanol should be here soon. We're going to have a dyno video on that. See if we can get the car to break 800 horsepower. I think we're going to be able to do it. I've already got a couple pulleys for the supercharger. So we're going to go down a few pulleys, and yep, we're going to let it eat. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.